Akimo Sobies, this is Batman. Welcome to the August 29 edition of 30 with Tony. We have the best news, the boss's music, and incredible classic clips. This show is better than a night in Gotham City or dancing the rumba with Aunt Harriet. So come on, Kimo Sobies, suck it to me.
Oh, I'm so ready. Just one more kiss. Come on, now, baby. Honey in the beehive, honey bunch. Every time you kiss me, hit me like a bunch. Ready, 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 oh my. I want, yes I do, what you got. Sock it to me, baby, baby. Sock it to me, baby, baby. You gotta sock it to me, baby. Sock it to me, baby. Sock it to me, baby. Sock it. And the blue, my baby, across the floor. Every time you shake it, girl, I like it more. Give me, give me, give me, give me, give me something sweet. Knock me, ooh, off my feet. Sock it to me, baby, baby. Sock it to me, baby, baby. You gotta sock it to me, baby. Sock it to me, baby. Sock it to me, baby. Sock it. Hey! Ooh, I'm feeling buzz now. I'm getting whacked out. Oh yeah, yeah, I'm flying Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Honey in the beehive, honey bun. Every time you kiss me, hit me like a punch. Ready, 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 oh, now. Hey, now I want, yes, I do, what you got. Sock it to me, baby, baby. Sock it to me, baby, baby. Gotta sock it, na, 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 to me, baby. Sock it to me, baby. Sock it to me, baby. Sock it. Baby, come on, come on, come on, come on. Ooh, now, sweet baby. Ooh, yeah.
Well, hi, Kemosabe's. It's Tony D'Angelo. It is August 29th, 2024, 3 p.m. Eastern, out of Domini in the year of our Lord. Welcome to this edition of 30 with Tony. I'm so happy to have you and just so happy for all of the comments and encouragement and retweets. And happy if you listen to our summer weekend music tape, which I put out some of our favorite songs on 30 with Tony. You can play that this upcoming Labor Day weekend. And it's, my gift to you. It's kind of a smattering. We use songs in different clips here. We'll use the full song. Perhaps at the end, we'll use a shorter song. So it all kind of goes up there. And I know a lot of you have said to me, "Oh, why couldn't you play the song a little longer?" Gee, I don't like the song you played longer. It's all okay, just trying to do my best, but it's fun. We should have fun once in a while. And having this discussion last night with my wife, Kathy, and believe me, if I'm going to be around a bunch of people, I would much rather be around conservative Republican, maybe not even necessarily Republican, but conservative people who believe in America And, if you're Republican, great. But, believe in the law and believe in God, because they're joyful, they're positive, they do things, they talk about things, they make things happen. If I get around a bunch of liberals, it is probably the most whiny, disgusting, burdensome experience that I could possibly have. And I pity these people, because look at it this way. When you don't believe in God, when you believe that the system, largely run by Democrats, will make your way better, and when you see the crap and the crud around you, and you ask your leaders, hey, what are you doing about this or that? And what you get is trust your leaders, trust your leaders. You're going to get depressed. I mean, because if Gavin the Hare Newsom and King Governor Ned Lamont the Unaccountable and Smiling Phil Murphy are your, shall we say, day stars, man, your day isn't really very bright. And I don't say that to be critical. I say that because it really is a sad thing. So I like to be around upbeat, positive people who bring forth new ideas. No idea is a bad idea. Any idea is a good idea. It may not work, but it might give rise to another idea, which gives rise to another idea, which can work. And the worst teachers and the worst bosses and the worst politicians are those that say, no, it's not a good idea. That's not going to work. They will not explain to you hardly ever why it won't work, but they're just going to say it's not going to work, and their word is God. And, you need to shut up, pay up, or get down the road, like it, lump it, take it down the road and dump it. And that's not a good way to be. And not only that, but many ideas are good, but maybe their time hasn't arrived yet. Well, that doesn't mean you forget about them. That doesn't mean you stop developing them. So much of America is hamstrung by stupidity. So much of America is hamstrung by bad thinking and bad ideas. And in this first segment, which is really a little unusual for me, but it's sticking in my craw, you happen to tune in this afternoon or whenever you decided you wanted to watch this for whatever reason. And I got to get this out of my heart and out of my chest and to you, and I want you to draw your own conclusions. But lately I have become incredibly, talk about bad thinking, bad ideas, bad approaches. I have become increasingly impatient. Maybe it's my age, my stage, shall I say, how could I put it? Every day I go on, I realize that's one more day that I'm not going to be here on Earth, and I'm not going to be as productive as I am right now. And trying to get the most out of any single thing I can do, any single resource I have. And, RFK, Bobby Kennedy said something when he accepted the joining up with President Donald Trump was, I want to do good in this life, said Mr. Kennedy. And if I wait around for my Democrat Party to get to my way of thinking, and it's 8 years of Kamala Harris, two things are going to happen. Number one, she'll destroy the world. And number two, I won't have the juice that I do right now. And Mr. Kennedy, I get that. I get that entirely, which is why I do what I do. Now, I was saying this past week, the heck with it. I'll go to Pomfret Town Park and play pickleball, providing my knees hold out. But it's like, it means something to me to tell the truth and for people to act on the truth and do better. Otherwise, myself, I think I'm just a poor excuse for a human being if I do not do that. But anyway, when we talk about bad thinking, bad ideas, and wasteful things, and where organizations and policies and political parties are run by consultants that somehow knew more but continually fail. Well, look at what McKinsey did in COVID-19, right? Wasn't that a masterwork? Do you think all of that came from the brain of King Governor Ned Lamont the Unaccountable? A political candidate I heard this past week running for the Republican Party saying Lamont is not stupid. No, Lamont is stupid, unfortunately. He is dictated to by the people around him. The man does not have an original thought. If an original thought ended up in his head, it would die of loneliness. And if you don't agree with me, just look at how he's run Connecticut all these the years that he has. But I want to, this one cuts, what I'm going to show you cuts to my heart and being. And I'm getting very tired of this because I'm getting more tired of waste and bad thinking and it's and excuses. And I got to let it out. I don't care where it goes. If it goes to 10 listeners and viewers, if it goes to 1,000, if it goes to 100,000, it's just the way it is. So allow me to elucidate. I'm going to give you a little background, if I can. There's my screen share, and what I'm showing you is a verse from the Christian Bible. And the verse from the Christian Bible, actually, this is the New Testament. If you want to call it the Judeo-Christian Bible, you can. To me, it's the Word of God. And this is the Gospel of Luke. And Luke says in the Gospel, and just take this for what it is. If you're an atheist, I'm sorry for offending you, but bear with me in my folly in your case. Simple beans, principle. Given it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that you meet withal. Now, this is Old English here. Meet withal. It means for the same measure that you give, it shall be measured to you again. There is a very important law in the universe, whether you agree with this or not, and it's called the law of sowing and reaping. There's another part of the Bible that says, for what you sow, what you give, that's what you're going to get back. You are not going to plant, Fred Price used to tell us in Crenshaw Christian Center, you're not going to plant tomatoes and get corn. You're going to plant tomatoes and you're going to get tomatoes. It's a very simple thing. So my Bible tells me that in order to be a successful person with a relationship in God, I must give. Now, what do I give? I give resources. Well, what am I supposed to give? My resources are not limited to my money. My money is limited, but I can give of my time. I can give of my experience. I can give helping someone as best as I can. I could give my guidance. I could relay an experience. I could buy food. There's a lot of things I can do. Buy food and give it to somebody that's hungry, that to help people. And that's the whole idea. The world is conditioned on us helping one another. Now, what typically happens is people will help somebody and get burned, and they'll say, well, the heck with that charity, church, person, whatever, churches, charities, and people are no damn good. I'm not giving anymore. I'm keeping it all myself. And I get it, but that's not really the right answer, but I get the reasons for the answer. I've had vestiges of that myself in my life. Now, with that condition of, shall we say, giving is a good thing for good causes. Now, you can get into this whole debate of causes as to, is an art museum and is the theater as vital as a food bank or something to take care of children or meeting the needs of the elderly? And me, myself, and I'm not going to make that determination, because neither the Word of God nor the Internal Revenue Code, which we're going to look at in a moment, makes that determination for you. It allows it to the donor. How about that, right? We're dictated to by government. We're dictated to by the system. We're dictated to by political parties. We can't have an original thought. We don't know anything. We're just minions. We're just fools as far as the system's concerned. But basically, the Bible and the Internal Revenue Code says we're going to give you a broad base of charities to contribute to, and you decide what's valuable to you. You are, both the Judeo-Christian Bible and the law of the land, the Internal Revenue Code, says that it's up to you. You decide among this thing of this lazy Susan of various offerings, what you want to contribute to, and we will give you a tax deduction. Whole bunch of circumstances with that, and I could do a whole show on that, but it would bore everybody to tears, and half the people would fall asleep. The other half of the people would either walk away or start hating me for giving them something so boring. But that all said, there is a provision in the Internal Revenue Code for giving to charity. Now, what does the government say a charity is? A charitable corporation, just about every charity is incorporated, community chest fund or foundation, organized and operated exclusively in the main purposes: religious, charitable, scientific, testing for public safety, literary or educational purposes, or to foster national or international amateur sports competition, but only if no part of its activities involve the provision of athletic facilities or equipment, or for the prevention of cruelty to children or animals. No part of the net earnings which inures to the benefit of any private shareholder or individual. Now, what that means is everything you give to charity by law is supposed to go for charity. But there is a carve out, and the carve out is, shall we say, for something known as reasonable compensation. Now, what is reasonable compensation of a charitable employee or executive? Now, I'll tell you, there are some bulbous, obscene amounts that people receive for, quote unquote, being an executive of a charitable corporation or a charitable organization. What you typically get when you say, hey, this is insane, look to see what the head of the United Way makes, look to see what the head of maybe some of the veterans foundations make. And they'll say, well, we don't make nearly as much as, say, the head of ExxonMobil or the head of IBM or the head of GM or something like that. And that is a deceptive and an unfair comparison, because you're not compared by the guy running or the girl running the taxable organization. Your compensation is in a tunnel. It's supposed to be what is reasonable for what you do. And the best benchmark for that, a lot of times, because I do get involved in these charitable compensation studies from time to time, who represent several charities, is what are people in other organizations making, and how does that relate to you? That's a little bit more fair. But again, you might be running up against some bulbous things where the head of the Boogie Woogie Foundation thinks he's worth as much as the person running Ford Motor. The person running the Boogie Woogie Foundation may have a lot more value than the guy running Ford Motor, running it into the ground, but that's not what we're asked to do. It is supposed to be a world of reasonable compensation. Now, charities, I'm just going to stop the share here for a moment, get away a little bit from the boring stuff. Charities are allowed to promote. You see ads on TV. You walk in the post office, you see things on the poster board. You may get pop-up ads on your computer. They're allowed to promote their shall we say their mission within reason. You can't take an entire charitable budget and your brother runs a marketing company and you throw the whole thing after him. That would not be reasonable, nor would that be shall we say conducive to the continual running of a charity, because charity is supposed to run forever. Basically, they are not supposed to go out of business. They have what is known in the law as a perpetual life. So me, myself, and I, when I look at a charity, and I'm just going to go back to the share because I think that bears a little reinforcement. I want to look at two things. Number one, does this charity follow what I want to, shall I say, have in my personal giving of my small amounts, and does it follow the purposes of what the law is? Now, the law will determine the law, but basically, I don't want my charitable dollar or my church dollar to go to pay for somebody's unreasonable compensation for their brand new Rolls Royce or for their mansion home. I want my dollars to go to the charity. And there's a lot of things like, I'll stop to share. There's a lot of things known as like Charity Watch, and you can look to see how much of the mission, according to Charity Watch, actually, or whatever the names of those watchdog organizations are, actually gets down to the people whom the charity says that they are for. It allows you to base your own decisions. But lately, I've been troubled on two fronts. Number one, I've been troubled by people involved in political campaigns who are frustrated, who want to see people elected. And yet they come to the campaigns with ideas, and basically the campaign saying, well, no, we're not going to do that. Why? Because our consultants say it is not a good idea. The people who are supposed to be thinking for the campaigns, or perhaps the candidate themselves, and they don't think. They want to run for office and represent, thousands and thousands, if not millions of people, but they're afraid to think for themselves. I mean, go figure. Or they don't trust their own management sense, but yet your charitable dollar, when it goes to these charity or these political organizations as such, pays that person's salary instead, a portion of that, instead of helping the particular charity. So I've been very hard on that because I'm going to show you something. And this is an organization which I have been supporting. Actually, before I get into that, lately with the charities that I support, I've been seeing a whole bunch of tchotchke, nonsense, junk, stuff I'm never going to use, show up in my mailbox. And I mean, I'll go to the mail. I have 2 lock boxes, and I'll get a call slip, and I'll go to the window, and my postmaster will hand me something which does not fit in the box. And I'm thinking, is this a package? Is this something that's from a client? Is this important? Is it something that my wife ordered? And what I'll often get is a solicitation from a charity that I am supporting, or quote unquote, a free gift. And I'm thinking to myself, I did not give you this money for you to send me a gift. I am giving the gift to you. I want the donation, if you will, to go to the people whom I want to help. I don't want to see 1 cent go to junk, which is going to end up in a landfill. And where this comes from is from these pinheaded consultants talking about, if you want to say it's political people as well, it's fine. But in the charity sense, it runs to these people who say that it is a good thing to send me junk once in a while. And they pay the consultants, and they go out and they hire people to produce the stuff. And, on and on they go their merry way. So a little bit of background. I've been a contributor, and this is not to bash the organization, not to bash the integrity of the organization. That's not my objective here. My objective here is to tell the fine organizations that I believe have the potential to be fine to stay away from the horse crap, stay away from the consultants, stay away from the idiotic giveaway trinket nonsense, and focus on your mission, because this is what I want for you to do. I have a heart for disabled veterans on top of other things. And, these are people, which I didn't do, went out to some foreign land and either, or served honorably in the public services of the United States, police or fire, and got themselves hurt or killed by, doing their job, doing their duty, leaving behind their family, their young children, and people who were stripped of a father or a mother all too soon. So I want to see every penny go to that. Now, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, which advertises a lot on the Fox network, is always priding themselves on, we have every single dollar accounted for. And, I know that their expenses on a, whatever you want to call it, on a global scale are low. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think there should be any expenses going for trinkets and any expenses going for gifts or tchotchke or any of that, because I did not give to this organization. And a lot of the veterans charities do this. They'll send things out to me, and I don't know what to do with them. I mean, they might be useful for somebody. They're certainly not useful for me. They're listening to some idiot telling them that this is what I want, and I want nothing of the sort. And I know I speak for thousands of people, but basically, Tunnel to Towers Foundation has sent me twice trinkets that I cannot use. The first one is a tote bag. Now, what happened this past Friday is I got this thing in the mail, and I just went nuts on the website saying, what idiot told you spending money for this is a good thing? What is the purpose of this? This does not go to a veteran. This will not even be used. This will end up in a landfill. And a very nice young man called me back last Friday. We had a discussion. Actually, he was discussing. I was kind of yelling. I said, you can't defend this. You can't possibly defend it. He was telling me that this is part of our 5% of administrative expenses. Well, maybe you need a 4% administrative expense, because something like this actually antagonizes your donor. Because what it tells your donor is that that donor is not, whatever he's giving is not going entirely for that charity. Now, no donor in his mind is going to be against having salaries. You need people to collect the money. You need people to administrate. You need people to distribute. You know, I'd rather see them get a raise than sending me some dumb trinket. But basically, if you look at the core of charity, it's give, give from your heart. And that the code, even though it does allow you, the Internal Revenue Code does allow you a little bit of slippage, it's not supposed to be for things other than the charitable purpose. Now, charities in these days have been maligned, screwed, blued, and messed over. I mean, Connecticut, they're used to conduct government, right? Advanced CT, and it's just, right Yukon Foundation. And basically you leave all of that and you put it in a foundation to keep it entirely away from public view. That's another story. But basically, I am a purist when it comes to charity. Charity should go to help people. That goes for churches. That goes for food banks. That goes for anything. Because how many times are charities used for public influence? How many times does the Connecticut, I don't know what it is today, I think it's Food Share, go out and do some distribution and 5 politicians show up? I mean, we care about people. They're using it as a means of getting reelected. But and I speak today to consultants, and I speak today to heads of foundations. I speak to you, Frank Stiller, because you need to be doing better judgment here. It's not that I'm not going to support you, but this is not helpful. I don't know if you could see this. I went to the mail this past weekend, and I haven't opened this, but Tunnel to Towers, after I had the conversation last Friday, they sent me this. And I don't know what's in it. It's another free gift. And here it is. And I didn't ask for this. What am I going to do with it? But let's open it. We're going to open it here on the air. And what are they telling me? With your support, we can ensure that the sacrifices of heroes like Bradley Allen Foster are never forgotten. Take action today. And it's a very nice picture. I can't really show it to you because I don't think it's a letter. It's a very nice letter, and the camera gets kind of befuddled here, so I really can't do it. Another handout, honor their sacrifices. And an envelope. I don't know if you can see that, but guess what? Another tote bag. What am I going to do with a tote bag? I live in Connecticut. I go to the grocery store. I've got more tote bags coming out of my ears than this. And who thinks of this? Who decides this? How is this going to make me feel? I mean, if I give you more money, you're going to put out more of this crap, this nonsense that has no purpose whatsoever. This isn't going to help these people, and this is where, this is hard. This is hard for me, might be hard for you, but I want to see my money go to help veterans. I want to see my contribution to a food bank go to feed a hungry person. I want to see, and this is really, and this is where I get very irritated at politics. I want to see if I give money to a political candidate, believe me, my long story, I haven't done that and probably won't, but I want to see that go to improve things and not to pay some idiot jerk consultant who's going to decide what they want to do and completely run these candidates into the ground. You might call this, I don't know. Anyway, you might want to call this an unpaid management consulting show. But what I'm going to ask each one of you to do is this. If you give to a charity, make yourself a committee of one and go to this charity and ask them, where's my money going? Where is this going to help these people? Are you going to send me useless, trinkety nonsense? Or are you going to use these things to help, use my resources to help people? Are you going to fire your marketing consultants? Are you going to stop thinking that you've got to give somebody something in order to get something? Whoever told you that? People don't give because they want something. People give because they want to help. Why doesn't your mission, Frank Stiller, which I think is a great mission, or the VFW, the other people I've gotten stuff from, why doesn't your mission stand on its own? Why do you feel you need something like that? And that's my opinion. You have your own, but basically I had to get that off my chest. I've seen too many consultants and too many marketing consultants and too many pinheads run things off the rails, and whatever little I can do to stop it, I'm going to. Hate my guts, but it's me, and I believe I'm telling you the truth. It's Tony D'Angelo on 30 with Tony. We'll be back in a moment. Well, thanks, Kemosabe's. Thanks for staying with us. As we continue our journey today, I've been dealing with this. I think I'm just scratching the surface on it, but where we have watched the state of Connecticut, the uniparty, the tight little island between Eversource and the legislature, the highly compensated executives of Eversource that somehow found their way into the legislature, and all of this together kind of tied up in a neat little pin, now exploding, now unraveling, now a sea of just pontificating, pompousness, and finger pointing. I'm going to show you today. We did touch on this a little bit in the Lee Elsey show, actually, in the month of August, but I'm going to show you today the Eversource of the future. And it's not electricity, it's the water. So let's do a little sharing. And we're going to go over to here. And we're going to go over to here. And we're going to go to here. Article, Connecticut News Junkie. The author is Jamil Ragland, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Apologies if I am not. And the story is the Regional Water Authority makes a pitch to bid for Aquarian. Now, a little bit of background. Aquarian is a subsidiary of Eversource. It is a water company. So Eversource is not only involved in the delivery of electricity, and that cough was actually unintentional, but perhaps apropos. It is also involved in water. And the gentleman who's pictured here, his name is Larry Bingaman. He is the president and chief executive officer of South Central Connecticut Regional Water Authority. I sat a couple of committees with him in the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce. And Mr. Bingaman is the, as we say, he is the chair of the South Central Connecticut Regional Water Authority. He's also a member of, I want you to remember his, what he looks like. He's also involved in, as a board member, an executive board member of Advanced CT, where Greg Butler, the husband of Themis Claridis, is also seated. So, a couple of Eversource people in this nonprofit board who could be talking about anything. It's completely insulated from any sort of information request or public view, whatever the discussions are, which can possibly impact it as potential between these two people if they decide to discuss water or electricity. The most critical thing is going to any Connecticut home, completely off the record. If they do it, they're completely off the record. But that's a little bit of an aside. But that all said, that's because of our legislature who gave nonprofits doing municipal business a pass and a prohibition from having to disclose their business in front of us all. And no candidate, no legislator has ever called attention to that after I've been doing it for a number of years. Shame on all of you. Or as Ed Norton would say in The Honeymooners, a pox on you and all your ancestors. But basically, Mr. Bingaman is saying that he is very interested in purchasing on behalf of the South Central Connecticut Regional Water Authority Aquarian, because Eversource, who's losing money and in their, wanting to continue to be profitable other than putting the bite on Connecticut homeowners and apartment dwellers and business owners, wants to sell Aquarian because they need the money. And there's a whole lot of questions in that. Why is Eversource running out of money? Why, who's managing the thing? How does that impact rates? Who's discussing what with whom? I mean, our legislators don't ask those questions, so I'm asking them. And basically, there is some interest in the Regional Water Authority, which of course is a municipality, which is a bureaucracy, to purchase this water company. Now, we need water to live, right? Water's I mean, how much of our body is made up of water? And the Mr. Bingaman is saying we have a 45-year history of success, and there's a lot of shall we say, for and against for this. Michael Frieda, the first selectman in North Haven, he says this is positive, and we need to get the corporations out of it because the corporations have screwed things up. And or do we have an outsider come and dread the outsider? I mean, after all, the people in the state can screw things up enough without help from any outsiders. And basically, it's this thing of should we or should we not? Now, you got to ask yourself something. If the Regional Water Authority, which is a Connecticut bureaucracy, and all that we know that goes on with Connecticut bureaucracies, purchases the Aquarian Water Company, where does that leave you if you do not have a private well? Where does that put you on the scope of things? How will that impact your water prices? Will your water become politicized like your electricity has? I mean, these are the questions I would have. Now, me, myself, and I do not have city water anymore. We'll get to what they're going to do with me later, what they want to do with me. But basically, these are questions that need to be answered. And of course, the monkey junkie politicians say, hey, this is great. What I find interesting is this gentleman here, Charles Ferlotti, who served as the CEO of Aquarian, lives in Shelton, asked these questions, which I find interesting. And I think Mr. Ragland here did a good job of presenting both sides of the issue. Been kind of hard on the Connecticut News Junkie, but when you do something right, I'm going to say you did something right. And this is very interesting from Mr. Ferlotti. I have problems finding what your investment thesis is and why you're doing it, and what are your guiding principles. And I really don't understand how you're going to purchase with debt, and there's not some patron saint of acquisitions and financial control in the heavens. So you're going to purchase with debt, and it's not going to impact customers at either Aquarian or presently with the Water Authority. I don't follow that. And Mr. Ferlotti went on, because this is going to be purchased at a cost, and who is going to bear the cost? The person paying the bill is going to bear the cost. So as I previously referenced, you're going to finance this with debt, and debt, of course, has interest, and it's going to have, I believe, a tremendous upward pressure on rates. There's no way around that. On the other hand, if it's purchased by a private buyer, Pura would never in a month of Sundays allow an acquisition premium to be recovered and raised. Instead, the acquisition premium would be financed by shareholders. So for countless reasons, I see this as a bad, bad deal for Aquarian customers. So Mr. Ferlotti raises an interesting point. If the Regional Water Authority, with all of the wonders of Connecticut administration, purchases this thing, who pays? And then there is a whole thing as to water. Who controls water? Because you can control a lot by controlling water. And with the wonderful sense of warmth and trust and integrity and confidence we have in Connecticut bureaucracies of any sort, we, the citizens, can't really get our arms around what's happening. Now, there are public hearings if you are so interested. There are public meetings. You can go to this article here, and actually you can link to that August 23rd in the Connecticut News Junkie, and you can decide what's there for you. But you think, I look at that and I have a concern, because if Eversource can screw up electricity, how many ways can you screw up a light bill in Connecticut? How many ways can you politicize it? How many members of the executive board of the Eversource Corporation will find their way into the legislature? Don't give me this recusal BS. It's nonsense. You're there. Your presence is there. Your impact is felt. I don't know. What did we say on the Lee Elsey show? There's 9 states, probably more. I think it might be closer to 20 that consider that to be a criminal activity. That you can't, if you're standing as a legislator, you cannot stand in the same shoes as a executive, because they are quote unquote differing interests. The job of the legislator is to make sure that the job of the utility or the utility corporation or the person delivering the utility travels the straight and narrow. And, we have a standard. We have a standard in the trust business. I cannot sell my corporate stock to my clients without their full knowledge, full consent, and me willing to take the risk. But this seems to go on in government all the time. So these are things you got to start paying attention to, because what I see, me, myself, and I, and my poor little pea brain, I see Eversource the sequel. Why is it going to be any different than Eversource? What wondrous thing will happen to cause this to be, quote unquote, the magic solution? But anyway, be that as it may, and why I say it's Eversource in the making. Yes, I realize Eversource owns Aquarian, but the control of government is going to be a heck of a whole lot more direct. And that, to me, in Connecticut, kind of scares the living you-know-what out of me. But if you have a well, they're kind of interested in you too, because there are a number, we went through this on the Lee Elsey show, there are a number of do-gooders coming out of the state of Connecticut, largely in the University of Connecticut, that are telling you that your well water may not be safe, and we're going to be good little people, and we're going to come and we're going to give you water tests, and we're going to tell you everything that's wrong with your water, and they're going to test your water, and your water is going to go on some state database. You know what state databases are like, right, kids? I mean, like Semaphore and genomic sequencing and all the other crazy stuff that has gone on under the administration of King Governor Ned Lamont the Unaccountable, without any sort of accountability or pushback from any member of the legislature whatsoever. But basically, the government of the state of Connecticut is saying, you've got 300,000 private wells, and we've got to test this for your safety. Now, I am of the belief that it is a good thing to test your water. I do so frequently. I go and I buy the minerals, but I don't want government coming in here and telling me anything that they think is better for me, because we are looking at a huge slippery slope if that is the case. First, the water tests come. The people involved in it start amassing databases and say, we have a public health emergency. We have a public health crisis, like racism. Racism is a public health crisis. If you don't believe me, go talk to our legislature. But when that happens, you will get a number of lobbyists from the water industry, from people here like, the Regional Water Authority, because Mr. Bingaman would like nothing more than to have pipes running up your road so he could pitch you more water. And believe me, I've been at committee meetings with the guy. At one point, I thought he had water on the brain, for crying out loud. But basically, the object of a water company is to sell water. And what better way to do that than to a bunch of dumb, mostly white homeowners who are drinking dirty water, right? We're going to make this very difficult. Well, I don't want the stupid government in my water. I don't want the stupid government in my property. I don't want the stupid government doing any testing. So what will they do? They'll make me pay a fee, right? They will demand that I have certain tests involved. And God help me if I'm a landlord, because they're going to have double tests involved with that. Now, I am not for people drinking dirty water. And I think that if you have a concern with water, and if you're renting an apartment or a building, you go to Walmart and you get yourself a good quality water test and do your own testing. What the state of Connecticut wants to do, and this article is telling you, is that they want to give you a $100 water test that they say costs $300. Go to the Walmart, go to the Lowe's, go to the Home Depot, go to any store, and you can get yourself an incredible, good water test for less than $100. And not only that, but there is a chemical. You should be aware of this chemical if you have a well. And the state of Connecticut is going to make this a cause célèbre, because you read this article here and they're looking for grant money. It is called, I just want to get it over here, PFAS, PFAS. And the state of Connecticut cannot test for this. There is a test you can buy if you are so concerned, if you are so affected. But basically, what business is it of the state of Connecticut if I drink arsenic, if I drink motor oil? That's on me. I suppose it's the state's business if, I drink motor oil, get sick, and they got to spend public money that I can't pay back to handle my medical procedure. I mean, that's probably criminal, for crying out loud. Or is it suicidal? But basically, what I choose to ingest in my body, that would be my choice. Now, Robert Kennedy has some excellent, shall we say, information about where if the government says a certain thing is okay, even though it's harmful, go ahead, kids, go ahead and do it. But yet they want to get after your water. And why do they want to get after your water? Well, to make the bureaucracy bigger, to make Big Brother tell you more things that you need to do, because basically what goes on here in blue states and liberal administrations is a total and complete assault against the homeowner, and they'll start off over here with saying, we want to cause public awareness. Now, I don't know about the hearts and minds of the people actually doing the testing. They may be people of good intentions, but unfortunately, they are being driven by misplaced, shall I say, actors. Bottled water companies, big market to buy bottled water and to sell bottled water. So what do? They go out and they hire the McKinseys of the world to help them market. And the biggest enemy to them is the little old homeowner sitting in Killingly or Plainfield with a private well. I've had people, once I brought this out, I've had people come to me and say, are they going to come after, are they going to tax my water? Well, no, not yet. But this is what you have to be aware of, because unfortunately, government in Connecticut is not designed to help you. Government is designed to make government bigger. So what we see here, I'll stop to share. What we see here is a two-pronged assault on one of the most critical things that you could possibly have in your life in the state of Connecticut, water. The assault on water comes from if you have city water, let's make the bureaucracy bigger. And let's get into something known as water equity, right? Because, people don't have good water and you do. So we've got to have equity premiums on the water. And if you think you're sitting there smug as a Cheshire cat with a private well, you're going to pay for water equity too, because they will make you test. They will make you put filters on your water, and they will try to monitor and get their fingers in your water to get after you, to get after your information, regardless of what you think. You're not a burden to anybody. You just want to drink the water in your well, take a shower, make a pitcher of iced tea, things like that. Make a little hot tea on the stove, and that's all you want to do. But they have bigger designs. So again, be aware. Forewarned is forearmed. These people are not your friends. They're not there to help you. If you see that water testing going on, if you see an effort, if you see some pipsqueak legislator of whatever party coming out saying this is good, tell me, because we are going to excoriate them. If not on the radio, we will do that here. And that is an SAT word. And I didn't do so great on the SATs, but I learned the word excoriate. And I'm sure the legislator who heard that word, if he doesn't know the meaning of it, can look it up in his little funkin' wagnalls. That's what we used to say years back. It's Tony D'Angelo here on 30 with Tony. We'll be back with the fun part of the show. Need some fun. Real joy right after this.
Hello, fun seekers. Since we like to mix fun with business, please enjoy another video classic clip, courtesy of the producers of 30 with Tony.
This is Kendra. Today's 30 with Tony classic clip is from the 1943 movie serial, The Batman, set against the tumultuous backdrop of World War II. The Batman 1943 introduces audiences to Bruce Wayne, Lewis Wilson and his young ward, Dick Grayson Douglas Croft. By day, they are ordinary citizens, but by night, they transform into the dynamic duo of Batman and Robin, secret government agents dedicated to protecting Gotham City from the sinister forces threatening its peace. The serial's primary antagonist is Dr. Tito Daka J. Carol Na S.H., a cunning Japanese spy with a diabolical plan to aid Japan's war efforts. Dr. Daka's arsenal includes a radium-powered ray gun capable of disintegrating anything in its path, and a device that turns people into mindless zombies under his control. Operating from his hidden lair in the heart of Gotham, Dr. Daka orchestrates a series of sabotage missions designed to cripple the city's infrastructure and morale. Bruce Wayne's girlfriend, Linda Page Shirley Patterson, becomes unwittingly entangled in the conflict when her uncle, Martin Warren Gus Glassmeyer, is kidnapped by Daka's henchmen. As Batman and Robin race against time to rescue Warren and thwart Daka's plans, they encounter a host of challenges, including deadly traps, fierce battles, and narrow escapes. Throughout the 15-chapter serial, viewers are treated to a blend of action, suspense, and intrigue. The serial also introduces iconic elements of the Batman mythos, such as the Batcave and its secret entrance through a grandfather clock in Wayne Manor. Additionally, the portrayal of Alfred by William Austin influenced the character's depiction in subsequent comic book issues, transforming him from a portly gentleman to the slim, mustachioed butler fans recognize today. 12. While the Batman may show its age with dated special effects and wartime racial stereotypes, it remains a significant piece of cinematic history.
I am Dr. Daka, humble servant of His Majesty Hirohito. By divine destiny, my country shall destroy the democratic forces of evil in the United States to make way for the new order. And the page, step up to him. Slap his face. Step back.
Are you devil?
Mercy woman plays a song and no one listens. I need help, I'm falling again. Play the drum a little louder, tell me I can live without her if I only listen to the band. Listen to the band. Weren't they good? They made me happy. I think I can make it alone. Oh, Mercy woman plays a song and no one listens. I need help, I'm falling again. Play the drum a little bit louder, tell them they can live without her if they only listen to the band. Listen to the band. Now weren't they good? They made me happy. I think I can make it alone. Oh, woman plays a song and no one listens. I need help, I'm falling again. Come on, play the drums just a little bit louder. Tell us we can live without her now that we have listened to the band. Listen to the band.
30 with Tony, Thursdays, 3 Eastern on Twitter.
Well, thanks, Kemasabis. Thanks for staying with us. A non-politically correct joke. I warn you now. An Indian man walks into a coffee shop and he's got a bowl around with a rope, and he orders coffee. And while the counterman is getting him some coffee, he takes out a gun, he shoots the bowl, leaves a mess all over the place, and he walks away. So the next day, the Indian man comes in and he with another bowl, and he says, "I'd like some coffee." And the owner says, "Hey, wait, sir, you went and you did this yesterday. You ordered coffee, you shot the bowl, and then you walked out. Why are you doing this?" He says, "Well, actually, what I'm doing is I'm training for a run in Congress. I drink coffee, I shoot the bowl, I make a mess, and I leave. I hide for the rest of the day, and I come back and I do it the next day." I don't care if you hate me. It was funny. It's Tony D'Angelo here at 30 with Tony. Thanks, Kemosabe. Thanks for staying with us, and we'll be back next week with an even better show. So long.
Such